But the danger part of it is that no matter how spiritual a woman is, when it goes home, the Bible is giving that woman to the authority of her husband, which means the wife might pray when the husband is away. When the husband is present, the husband might say, "No prayer in my home," because he remains the head of that house. So as ages grow, as centuries grow, we drifted away from that pattern because we don't marry the suitable, we marry the available. What we do, we take care of the physical. It's easy to buy a sneaker and send it. It's easy to buy a t-shirt and send it. But who takes care of your boy child psychological space? Who stretches his thinking? Who asks questions? Who also is your boy child asking questions too? For somebody to grow, you must feed him. But for somebody to mature, you must teach him. Sometimes your children don't need money, they need your presence. No money can buy your presence in your child's life. No money can buy love for your children's life. No money can buy assuring your boy in a state of doubt, in a state of despair. He has a task that he thinks is too big for him, and you're home to say, "Don't forget whose son are you." That alone, it makes him pull up his socks. It makes him look at the mirror and say, "You know what? I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna do this thing." That if you know sport, there are boxers who won the fight because they had the best coach and trainer on the corner. The fight was fierce. And then when he comes back for drinking the water and he feels like coach does not work. And the coach says, "No, you got this. It's going to work. All you must do, keep your guards up, punch on the stomach." So you're teaching him skills of navigating through difficulty. What you do in the presence. You can't give them money if you don't have, but give them wisdom, and no money can buy. Give them courage. No money can buy courage.
Hey, before the episode begins, I just wanted to say thank you to each and every person who likes, shares, comments, and subscribe. I know I've been promising you guys to take this episode out earlier, and actually the episodes that are coming now, I know I've been promising you guys the making of a great man, but I've been having struggles in terms of the editing and all of that. My laptop has been giving me struggles, but I think I found a way to use my phone and edit, so I think I will be a little bit consistent as it pertains to releasing the making of a great man. And before I forget, I just wanted to say thank you to Apostle Jezile. I was looking at, my camera quality. My goodness. But I did it anyways. That's a preaching right there, but I did it anyways. And for him to come to an episode, a podcast that I think at the time we shot that, maybe I was sitting at about 200 something subscribers. It was not that much, for him to pull through and for him to make time. He's a very busy man. So for him to make time to pull through to the pod and share so much wisdom, it just shows that he's not a man who just preaches, the empowerment of young people and who believes in people in jail just from speaking about it, but he lives it out. So for me, it means so much to have him on the Wisdom podcast. In fact, everyone was going to come. I look at them and I'm just like, I can't believe you said yes. It just blows my mind. And I see God's hand all over this podcast. Before I forget, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Truly grateful as well to everyone watching this episode. Do me a favor. Watch it till the end. You will get something. I promise you, there's something you will get that will change your life. Anyways, peace. A warm greeting to everyone watching, listening, hearing. Welcome again to another episode of Wisdom Podcast. Please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Today, we have a very special guest. He is literally a legend, a living legend. He's one of the preachers who caters to everyone. When you're listening to them, he caters to the intellect, he caters to theologians, he caters to everyone. And I'm super honored to have him on Wisdom Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor and welcome Apostle Jezile. Apostle, how are you?
I'm blessed, and how are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for agreeing to be part of the pod.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start with some fun questions. But before I begin, I just want to say, Apostle Jezile scares me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna say one more time, Apostle Jezile scares me, and the reason for that is he has this aura, like, you know, the Bible, right, talks about the apostles, you know, when their shadows used to make people get well. Like whenever I see Apostle Jezile, I'm just like, hey, I was telling someone that now, like, if I look at Apostle Jezile, sometimes I'm just like, I think there's a demon that might come out of me because the aura Apostle Jezile carries, it's just like he's like oozing power. So yeah, I'm scared. I'm shaking as I'm doing this interview. But anyways, okay. So we're gonna start with some fun questions. And I didn't tell them about these ones. And the first fun question is this:
Mm.
who do you think would make a great father amongst the apostles, Jesus' apostles, and why?
Jesus would be a great father.
Besides Jesus?
Besides Jesus,
Hmm.
John.
Okay. Why him?
Actually, John writes more about Jesus using the title of the Son and the Father. It is where Jesus actually is talking more about the father-son relationship. You have seen me, you have seen the Father. I'm nothing unless the Father knows. I'll go to my Father. So John just dig deep in that subject. He bring it close home.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that makes sense. Shall I concede? All right. The second question is, who would you have liked to hear more about in the Bible besides Jesus? Who would you have liked to hear more about in the Bible and why? Basically, a Bible character who you think they did maybe a little bit of injustice in terms of writing about their life.
Paul is a very interesting character, especially that he leaves a lot of questions hanging for his audience. One of those would be how much he deals with issues of marriages, although there is no clear-cut statement that he was married. So it leaves a lot of people having a question that how come this guy profoundly teach so much about marriage, but there's nowhere where it is specified he was married. So I wish we could have delved more on his personal life, especially that when we talk with the issues of the thorn in the flesh, again, it's a quite a topic that creates curiosity, because one would want to know, was this thorn physical? Was it metaphorical? Was it a spiritual phenomenon? So those two things leaves Paul resume with some unfulfilled kind of clarification and definition of what really was happening in his life.
This is a follow-up question. Do you think it's right, though, for Paul to be talking about marriage when he was single?
That is why I'm saying it's an interesting character, because his depth in the subject leaves one wondering, was he married? If he was married, why there's not much said about his wife, whether that marriage worked or did not work. But it does seem that it's the subject that is close home to him and is profoundly teaching about it.
I find it interesting because we're all using his principles, I guess, for marriage, but we don't. Okay. No, I see. Ladies and gentlemen, I brought a theologian today. Okay. The last question is, which era would you like to visit in the Bible? If you had a time machine and they said, all right, you're going back in the Bible times, which era would you go and visit?
Athens.
Okay.
Yeah, Athens, I would like to visit it. Probably go to Areopago, a place that gave Paul so much difficult when it comes to issues of topics of wisdom. Because I would like to know what really happens to him in Areopago before he went to Corinth. because he came to Corinth having remembered that his message is not only for wisdom, it's also
Mm.
for power.
Mm.
What happened in Areopago brought balance to him in the message he preached in Corinth. So it would be interesting just to
Yeah, yeah, but still, you're making me feel like I don't know my Bible, but okay. Okay. So one of the things I really like asking people who come on the pod and people who have ministered, I really like hearing their story on how they got saved. So if you don't mind, please just share with us how the journey, of you getting into salvation and all of that.
I think mine is a bit interesting, if maybe that's the right word to use, because when I got married, I was not born again, but I knew that if my marriage have to work, I will need to have a close relationship with God. So nobody preached it to me. It's just that family is close to my heart. So I needed a family that's going to work. And for some reason, I knew it's not going to work if it is not anchored in God. And I think the time was also probably ripe when that thought came. Because immediately I have that thought, discuss it with my wife. The next Saturday we're in church to get saved. And it was not even a revival kind of a thing, it was a wedding thing, but I went to church to get saved.
That is so interesting. Yo. Wait, so was Mom Jezile saved at the time?
We got saved in the same almost same weekend actually. We got saved in that same weekend. But we didn't go there saying, I'm going to church, I'm going to get saved. Are you also going to get saved? No, it was took and we never looked back.
Apostle, this story is interesting. Have you preached on this before?
I do. I'll share a lot of this, especially when I talk to me.
Oh, okay. So how did you know that this will help me in my marriage?
Probably because I grew up in a society that was then properly structured. The stages of growth were clear. You go to the mountain, you get saved, you come back. There is a serious need to develop the character as a man, high expectation. What next now? It will go as far as you can no longer befriend those guys you grew up with if they left behind on the time you're going to mountain. So the stages of growth were clear. You're from the mountain, now you're a man. What's next? Get a job, continue building a family. Then what's next? The spiritual balance come in, although people go different routes on that. Some will continue believing on the spiritual aspect of ancestry and all that, but there is always a need and a pull to a spiritual side of things to strike a balance as a man. So mine was just definitely sure if it's going to work, God must be in it.
I think an interesting question then would be, how then did you end up in Christianity? Because I mean, I'm sure there was ancestral worship, there was Muslim, there were all these other religions. What made you go, I think this would work for me?
No, I think what helped me most was my wife there, because my wife, her background is that of a Christian. She grew up in a. When we talk Christian, you not talk about going to church. We talk about being born again, being saved. That was her background. So now we did not want to go to church. We wanted to develop a relationship with. That was supposed to be what takes us to church. That was the seriousness we had about this, because we wanted to make it work. So she played a huge role in bringing balance in matters of spirituality, not only just going to church to mark a register, probably get a set of clothing that the church has adopted for in hierarchical leadership and all that stuff.
Mm.
So that's not what we wanted. We wanted God, and we wanted to be precise, and we wanted to make sure that our family is founded on that.
Okay. Now I know I'm leaving the script, but now I want to know. How did you end up preaching? Because I mean, you're going to church just to make sure that the marriage works, but then now you on the pulpit. How did that happen?
Mine, I think it was just a divine setup. So because when I got saved in a church that was very small. So there was a demand for one to participate. There was no way you're going to sit at the back. So the stages of growth were a must. So you got to be an usher because there's not too much ushers. You got to be a worshiper because sometimes they're not there. You got to lead, man. You multitasking because the church size demands somebody to be available to do something. So I was almost everything in our church because it was not big in size. And the demands now, when the pastor is not there, you share the word. Now you lead men. You got to be biblically sound. Now you begin to study. And eventually God corners you to a place where you cannot escape the calling because it's becoming now obvious and glaring. It's just in front of you. Every excuse you make does not make it disappear. So it was a matter of that. I think it was the time was ripe. God knew that was the path I have to enter in, so that I don't have any other 10, whether left or right. It's just that I'm in this corridor now to my calling. Then eventually moved to Pretoria where the calling was clear. So mine was just that kind of a setup.
So essentially, you were just serving, and then Chigi Chigi calling here upon you.
Yeah, I think from serving, you began to know that this thing was never just about being in church, because there's obvious now signs that some things needs you to be there. You need to serve God, and then it keeps growing. It keeps becoming clearer to a point where even if you don't say about it, somebody's going to say about it. Even if you look away, somebody's going to show you. So that was the obvious of the calling that was upon my life.
Hey, Busteli, I know your life is interesting. Ah, yeah. Okay, all right. So you're quite big on men. For anyone who knows Apostle Jezile, he's got a passion for men. And so with this segment I have on Wisdom Podcast is basically I'm inviting people who have played like a huge role in my life in terms of shaping my ideas and certain things. And I called Apostle Jezile to focus particularly on, men and men issues. So this past Saturday, I think it was the 14th of September, you were preaching at our church and you said something so interesting. You were talking about one of the things that has happened is society has defined man in an inaccurate manner.
Yes.
That was good.
Mm.
And so the first question or second question basically I have is how would you want society to define a man, or what do you think should be the definition of a man?
The proper definition of a man would be his origin, because anything else we are doing, it will be just a definition according to culture, according to tradition, according to trends in our time. And then we're obviously going to give an obscured view of what a man is. So that means the definition will be distorted. So if we have to get it right, we have to ask the question, where is the man coming from? Genesis 1:26 then becomes a place of beginning in definition of who and what a man is, because it tells us that in the beginning God created everything. On the sixth day he said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. Then that is now the making of a man. Then the second part that follows is the purpose at which this man is created for, that he must dominate, he must rule, he must subdue the earth. So we cannot therefore define man in any other way other than which God himself, the creator, has defined what and who the man is and what the man must do. Any other definition is likely to cause distortion. That is why Xhosas will have another definition of what a man is. Probably Zulus, Tsongas, Sotus, Pedis, they will have their own definition, which is more encouraged by the cultural setup and the traditions those nations are following. which can even drift men more away from God. Because one of the key things that man must do for himself and for his family, he must lead worship. That is why in any spirituality that takes place in a homestead, man must be the leader in that. So when we therefore leave a man without properly defining him from the origin, which is God, then we're likely to have this distortion we even have today.
Okay, that last point you spoke on, I think I might ask you to expand on it. You said that every man in all the household needs to be leading the worship, right?
Yes.
What does that look like for Christians? Every believer needs KFC. Now, I'm not talking about the chicken, but if you want to buy me some, feel free. Okay. This concept is taken from the Hebrew boys. You see, they had the knowledge that God can, they had the faith that God will, and they also had the commitment that even if he does not, Nebuchadnezzar, we still won't bow. Anyone who knows Wisdom Podcast knows that we create content for revolutionaries because our mandate is serving a revelation that energizes a revolution. And if you want to be part of this movement, you can get yourself one of these amazing sweaters. Okay. So what you are seeing right now is you are seeing the back of the sweater, and at the back there's this phrase that's written, why every believer needs KFC, because I preached a sermon on this. It's on podcast, it's on our podcast platforms, it's on YouTube, it's on whatever. So if someone comes to you and asks you, why does someone need KFC, you just simply ask them to scan this QR code and it'll take them straight to the sermon I did on this particular topic. Now, one more thing. Okay. If you want to get yourself one of these, just simply look at the caption here or check out the bio. There should be some form of information on how you can get yourself one of these. Peace. We be.
It does not look good for Christians because many homesteads where there are Christian, it will find that the man may not be the Christian, it's the wife that is a Christian. So that means already there is a sort of a division in the realm of the spirit when it comes to the issues of belief. Because one believes in God and another one believes to God only. So there is conflict of interest, which going to result on the issues of commitment. But the danger part of it is that no matter how spiritual a woman is, when it goes home, the Bible is giving that woman to the authority of her husband. Because the problem with the, for instance, Ephesians, so where it says, wives submit to your husbands, then it does not say they have to be Christian. It just say they have to be husband. So by the virtue of being husband, a wife must submit to that man, whether he's a believer or non-believer. Then things becomes difficult that when a wife grows in the issues of Christianity and the man he's not, then somehow there is already a conflict and a confusion in the realm of the spirit because the one who's supposed to be leading that room. Which means a wife might pray when the husband is away. When the husband is present, the husband might say, no prayer in my home.
Yeah.
Because he remains the head of that house. So these things are very key. That is why Genesis also for curbing this confusion. God gives us a pattern. I think I spoke about it on Saturday. He gives us a pattern of how do you become a family of a woman and a man. He says, and God said it's not good for a man to be alone. Then I'll make for him a suitable helper. I'll make him a suitable helper. Then, as I said Saturday, that as ages grow, as centuries grow, we drifted away from that pattern. Because we don't marry the suitable, we marry the available.
Hey.
But the question is that if she is available, is she suitable? So you can't run with one part of that, because God made suitability to be what is key, because Eve was now already available. So God specified in matters of suitability. So with us, it's no longer just about suitability, it's about availability. So we miss out the bigger part of forming a family and establishing a relationship that will later attract children. Chaos don't sort, because the chaos, remember, also chaos must be sorted away from the presence of another person. That's what God did in the beginning. He sorted chaos, he filled the void, and then he dealt with darkness. These things cannot be tried to be sorted out when you are both together. You have your own darkness, she has her own darkness, and then it becomes too dark. Is space, so that when he meets a person, if it's suitable, this person is not lonely, he is alone. This is another biblical key thing, that God, for some reason, he specifies on the issues of terminology he uses around humanity.
Can I just ask, because I think that word suitability, as a young man like me, I'm looking at, like, it's just an example. I'm looking at a lady, I'm just like, oh, she's pretty. Oh, my kids are gonna be pretty. Is that the suitable you're talking about, or is there there's a specific, I guess, routine? I hope you understand the question.
No, that's not the suitability work. Actually, once we do that, then we relegate it to breeding.
Hey, okay.
We're moving away from suitability into levels of breeding now. Just like you say, oh, I'm handsome, she's beautiful, so our kids will be of course they will have our genes. A person is a human being is a spirit living in a body and having a soul. So there must be a proper balance in all these three spheres of humanity. The spirit, she's beautiful, he's handsome, but is he spiritual?
Hey,
Very key. He's handsome, he is spiritual, but psychologically, is he a stable person psychologically? These are the things you check when you start conversation with him. Does it make sense when you speak? Because what's the use of having somebody who's handsome and beautiful, but it not make sense at any time you have a conversation? It does not make sense while you are together. It's you and him, or her and you. Then there's still gonna arrive children around this relationship, which means wisdom keeps stretching. Psychological space is also challenged. So these things are very key. We can't just meet for breeding like animals, because they look at the strength of a male and a woman, and they know what they will get out of that. Suitability is very key. Helpmeet. That's what the King James will talk about. The helpmeet. This person is coming here to help you. Which the question will revolve around that. When somebody comes to help me, what does she find me doing? Because if you are sitting, you're doing nothing, what must I help you with? Must I help by sitting next to you? Those are the key things when we talk about issues of establishing relationships.
Okay. As Apostle, you've once said a statement which I think I just remembered now. I need your help in, I guess, getting clarity from it. You've said it a couple of times. You said you should never confuse your formation with your, I think you said, your creation. Can you please elaborate? Because I think I always get lost when you say that.
No, it shouldn't be lost. It's just a theological statement, because Genesis, first God says, that's chapter 126. God says, and I believe he was talking to the hosts of heaven, let us make men in our own image, in our own likeness. Then when that statement is finished, the Bible says, and then he created the male and female, which means now we're talking about the spiritual conception of the beings that must be formed. Okay. That is why chapter 2 now will clarify and say, and then he formed Adam as now a gender that is masculine, or a man, in the absence of Eve. In the realm of formation, Eve is not yet physical, but in the realm of creation, he created both the man and Actually, not even man, because the Bible says he created the male and female, but statement said, let us make men, which means nobody becomes a man by the virtue of gender. Everybody becomes man by the virtue of being made, which means this is actually what the devil is fighting, because the devil makes sure that fathers are absent to their children so that they don't become part of exactly what God has said. Let us make men. Once you talk make now, you grow and you go beyond just buying food for your children, sneakers for your. You must know that the making is gonna talk spiritually, is gonna talk psychologically, then it's gonna talk physically. Then most of what we do, we take care of the physically. It's easy to buy a sneaker and send it. It's easy to buy a t-shirt and send it. But who takes care of your boy child psychological space, who stretches his thinking, who asks questions, who also is your boy child asking questions too? Because remember that as he matures, the biological setup is beginning to ask questions. This is happening in my body. How do I respond to it? Then the father should be home so that his boy can be able to ask this question. That is why I also say we might have two types of absent fathers: the one who's not coming at home, and the one who's at home but is not participating in his children's lives. He's here, but the boy, he feels like, I don't know if my father will be able to talk to me about this, because he does not create that platform for his children to talk to him. He's more like a scarecrow at home, something to keep the children disciplined and all that. So they behave at home, but you're not sure if they are behaving on the street, because there is no fellowship with your children. I think that's the name I'll find. There is no continuous engagement with your children. You don't open that platform that if anything arises, let you be the first who is asked such questions, because give proper answers than the deceiving answers for the sake of keeping a friendship fitting in. You don't want to fit in your children's life. You want them to grow and become responsible citizens.
What if there was a way for you to feel God first? What do I mean by that? You see, our circumstances, our environment, and even our challenges technically don't have emotions in and of themselves. It is our interpretation towards those circumstances that technically birth emotions in us. So what if there was a way for you to reprogram your mind instead of living on default mode? Because right now, when they're telling you that the economy is going down and the prices are going up, what happens in you is that there is a level of anxiety that arises in you. But what if there was a way for you to reprogram your mind that when they were bringing bad news to you, the first thing that happened to you is that there was an increase in awareness of the ever-present help? My name is Ulungisile Mtshweni, and I am a life coach, and I have developed this 40-day challenge where I help people reprogram their mind so that they feel God first. Two things, okay? Number one, people who pay attention. And so this will be a program that will be charged at 3,000 Rand. This price will not stay like this. This price will definitely be increasing as time goes by. That's one. Number two is that I can only take a limited number of 20 people. We will be doing these challenges a little bit later on as well, but the price will go up there. One more thing. If you want to join this challenge, I'm asking you, quickly head to ulungisilemtshweni.com. It should be somewhere here on the screen. Head to ulungisilemtshweni.com, and I would love to partner up with you as we do this challenge. I can tell you, I did this challenge on day 14. I was crying. I was literally in the bathroom. Anyways, can't wait to see you there. Peace. Okay, let's say someone is watching this episode and he's a gent and he really wants to be made, but his father is like absent, be it passed away or whatever. What advice would you give to him? Where should he go? What are the signs should he be looking for, like, to find a perfect person who can make him?
I think it's proper for any boy child or any man for that matter who didn't have his father present in his life, probably to get a mentor who can be honest about the reality of life. Therefore, the second part of your question is that how do I know? I think you cannot be mentored by somebody who does not exhibit the traits that you need, who does not exhibit the things that you desire to have as a man. Let's talk about somebody who say, I want to establish a family that is working, but you get mentored by somebody who beats his wife.
Mm.
You get mentored by somebody who does not know where he's home when he gets paid. So already there is a problem because he can't make you what he is not. Just like we say, you can't give what you do not have.
Yeah.
So there must be certain things that attract you to that person, that he's present at home, he has a relationship with his children, he's loving loud, his wife is happy. That is evident, is not acted out. The person you can come closer and be able to get mentored with. So in a church setup, it becomes a little bit easier, even though sometimes we can act it out in church for public acceptance, and at home we become something else. But in that community of believers, it's easy to monitor people and they don't even know. I walk in with my wife, you're able to see how I relate here, you're able to see how I relate with my kids. That's not a Sunday morning thing. Conferences come, outings come, camps come. So you can be able to see there is consistency
Okay.
in this man's behavior. Then you are able to see that, okay, over time, I have monitored how he handles family issues and how he presents himself as well as individual. Then you are able to say, okay, I think I can gain something from this man. Then you can take it from there. If you want to formalize that mentorship, probably you can talk to your pastor, get a meeting with this man, exchange numbers, then set up meetings, and then come an open book. He must know why are you attracted in his life.
Okay. Uh, as you were speaking, I just thought of a catastrophe you also like talking about, and I just wanted to kind of sort of ask you to talk about some of the dangers or the crisis that we are in right now as a church. And you keep mentioning it, Uti. When we go to churches, there are less male figures. I mean, the worship team, it's most predominantly women. And so I just wanted you to talk about how do we fix that and why should it be fixed?
I think what I'm doing actually is trying to remedy the situation. Having known how men behave, men are reserved species. Even if a man is an outspoken person, but when anything is going to challenge his set of rules, his standard of morality, he becomes defensive, especially if he's in an environment where he's going to look like he's weak if he does not defend himself. Then you're likely to lose that man. That is why one of the things why we don't have so much people in churches, that you have one man on the pulpit that addresses 50 that are there, and they are wondering, good, who's this guy who's trying to tell us what to do and what to behave like in our own homes, and our wives and our children are present. That alone makes us a men to feel like, no, nkosikazi ungahamba wena nabantwana, mina I'm fine. Because remember, he does not want to appear weak in front of the people he leads at home, which was one of the reasons why I have these conferences that are tailor-made only for men. If you notice, you've been in many of them. Some of the things we talk about, they're probably 99% of them, women know about them. So it's not about that, are we talking about something so secret and so deep that women do not know? No, it's not about that. We're creating a safe space for men so that they can be vulnerable in the presence of God. They can be real. They can break without thinking twice. Good, you know what? This thing hits home. If there was nobody else here, I would be falling down and be crying and open up. But what will my child say when you see me? Because at home I'm this macho guy. They never saw me. I'm not showing any emotion and all that stuff. So this is just one of the reasons why we have this type of conferences we have. It's just one kind of remedy we have over many that we can. Because men don't want just to be vulnerable anyhow. And remember that it took years to build that type of man that hold on your emotions, hide your emotions. That was set up Sitindo Daikali. Yeah, so you can imagine now all of a sudden, 21 centuries later, you say, no, it's okay for a man to cry and all that. To me, that's a very strange thing. Crying for what? You get what I'm saying? These are the statements that are coming in now, which are also causing a lot of debates and confusion between generations. Because the now generation does not see why should I not cry when it's painful. My generation is like, you are a man, you are crying. Why are you crying? Why are you not fighting? You get what I'm saying. So the message now is coming from two different streams. So when we're in a man's only kind of an environment, questions can be asked without the intimidation of I will look weak, I will look soft and all that. But again, men must have deliberate and intentional commitment in raising their boys. You'll recall that I think Saturday I said this thing that there's a difference between growing and maturing. For somebody to grow, you must feed him. But for somebody to mature, you must teach him. These are two things. You feed the body, it develops and grows, but you teach the mind to mature a person. Because teaching involves questioning the behavior. Why are you doing certain things being a why are you behaving like this as a man? A man does not do ABC. That's teaching. Then now you are bringing balance between growing and maturing. Unfortunately, most of our boy child, they grow, but they don't mature. Even by the virtue of biology now, even when we talk about growing, women are growing faster than men in terms of biology because they don't wait for a certain stage for changes to take place in their body and all that. When women are born, they're born with their eggs, they're growing with their eggs. Everything that changes is already there. So with us, you have to wait until a certain stage, and then there is a biological exchange and all that. And your father is not even there to tell you that when this is happening, this is what it means. And then you just go through that path alone. And then your friends were also lost like yourself who act wise because no one wants to say, guys, we're all lost here. Who can we find to ask the path forward or the road forward because fathers are not there? So they form a community of young men who are trying to find a path they never walked before because those who walked ahead of them are not there. Tell them this is what you need. So we need to be deliberate, need to be intentional. So one of the things I might say, perhaps before I let you ask another question would be that I would like to challenge every man who knows he has a child somewhere and is not part of his life that he must make all means possible to be part of his children's life. Sending money is not enough. Making a call of 30 minutes, how are you doing, how is school and all that is not enough. Because you remember in life, some things are taught, others are caught. Your presence can give your child a lot of things to learn without having you to teach him. Just being present. He looks at your behavior and says, oh, okay, that means a man has to behave in a certain way. Actually, the research does agree with what I'm saying, that most of the things that our children do is not the things they were taught, is the things they saw. Tell your child, don't do this, and he feels like, okay, I heard you, but I want to see you doing it. So they do more of what they see us doing than doing what we tell them to do.
I think this segment right here, well, this answer you gave, I think it will match beautifully with one of the questions I wanted to ask, and that is, what does it mean for you to be a present father? And the reason I'm asking that, just to lay context to that question, is that maybe there's a father right now who's watching this and they're not really a present father, but they're kind of sort of not motivated to go, and actually be there for the child. So what does it mean for you to actually be a present father, and this is in hopes that it will spark something in an absent father.
The interesting thing about being present father actually is that My children have taught me a lot of things that I thought probably I know because I'm older than them by age. But because they are born in a different generation, I was born in a different generation, I've learned a lot from them, which means, therefore, a man who is not at home is missing out from learning than only teaching. Because being at home, it goes two ways. As you teach them, they teach you something. So you keep adjusting even your style of parenting because you tend to know that this generation is completely different from the generation I was. So there's a lot of adapting and adjusting for the purposes of advancing because this relationship must work and you don't have to force it. So you tend to know now that okay, this generation thinks this way because where they are, the things are not the same as where I was. So more than teaching, you are also learning. Prepares you now not only for your home but for the community you're going to meet when you're not home, because you're going to meet a lot of other boys on the street. Some have fathers, some don't have fathers. You already know, okay, if this is the guy I meet, probably the problems for him to behave in a certain manner, it's ABC. Because most of the things that my boys will come home and ask, you know what, Dad, I met this guy and this is what he said. What could be the reason for him to say this? Then I already know, good, okay, he's a self-taught guy. Some of the things that he is exercising and practicing, he might have just seen something on TV and thought if I practice it will work. But in real life, it's not like life is not a movie. Life is real. You
Mm.
real people who get hurt, who get angry, who get disappointed. So that is one thing that you miss out if you're absent in your children, not only to teach your children, but also to learn to be a father. Because by the virtue of giving birth to a child does not make you a father. What makes you a father is the ability to take care of what you have produced. So those things are very key. Some people will be threatened even by the economic reasons for them not to be there. Sometimes your children don't need money, they need your presence.
Mm.
No money can buy your presence in your child's life. No money can buy love for your children's life. No money can buy assuring your boy in a state of doubt, in a state of despair. He has a task that he thinks is too big for him. And you're home to say, don't forget whose son are you. That alone, it makes him pull up his socks. It makes him to look at the mirror and say, you know what, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do this thing. I got to come home and tell dad that I made it. It's not a pressure you put on, it is an encouragement so that they know that whatever life throws at you, you have the same tenacity to fight back. These are the things that we lack in our community. Our children are not taught how to fight. When we talk fight, we don't talk you going around beating people and all that, but we talk to say, if life pushes you back, push back. Don't just be a crybaby. You are a man here. Tomorrow you're going to have a family that is going to add from what you're going through today. So what you go through today must toughen you up and prepares you for what is going to happen tomorrow. And nobody can fight back. Do you know that if you know sport, there are boxers who won the fight because they had the best coach and trainer on the corner. The fight was fierce, and then when he comes back for drinking the water and he feels like coach does not work, and the coach says, "No, you got this. It's going to work. All you must do, keep your guards up, punch on the stomach." So you're teaching him skills of navigating through difficulty. What you do in the presence, you can't give them money if you don't have, but give them wisdom, and no money can buy. Give them courage. No money can buy courage. Boost their morale, boost their confidence. They got to know who you are, what made you, and what runs in their blood is coming from your genes. You know, the difficulty going through, they got to know that if you were not the man that God made you, you would have given up like any other man. But you have them to stand for. You have God to stand for. Therefore, you're teaching them that life is not just about one punch, you fall. They must know you can be knocked down, but then a knockdown is not a knockout.
Yes.
It takes you to wake up sooner than later. In boxing, they say if you beat the count, you can still win the fight.
I personally, every time I listen to you, I'm just like, let me go. Oh, like, okay, okay. But I think there's something that popped in my mind as you were speaking, and it's something I wanna, I guess, put on the table to just ask whether I'm right in this thinking.
Mm.
You said one of the things that happens as you are a present father, you learn, and I guess once and you said, particularly pertaining to you, you learned about the things in this generation. Is it a fair assumption to make that if you are an absent father, I guess you limit the impact that you can make within the era you are in?
Is a very fair assumption, especially if you are a keen person to make impact in life. When your life is not only about you, your family, and that's it. Your life is about, I must make change where I am. I must make impact. You remember, if you don't have the tools, you can't do the job properly. So when you have your children around you, they are updating you. You are actually backdating them. So you both know nothing, and you also both know something. So the fact that you are a father, it shouldn't be that you know all. You don't know all. For this generation, they're here to update you what is happening in this generation. They also don't know what happened in your generation. So by the virtue of them being absent in that generation, you backdate them while they are updating you.
Ah, that's great.
So this is the relationship that parenting brings when you are at home to your children.
Did you have a struggle in terms of like opening up to your kids in terms of learning? Because I'm assuming you were raised in like a black family where you're just like, I'm funding next. I learned nothing from a kid. So did you have struggles in terms of like opening up to learn from your kid, or were you from your kids, or were you always open to hearing them out?
I still do. I still do. Remember, we are generations apart.
Hmm.
So I must keep adapting. I must keep adjusting. Sometimes I'll dismiss them. When they're gone, I feel like, my goodness, I've missed an opportunity to learn. Then I have to recall them. What were you saying? Now I'm ready to listen and learn, because I'm called to work with men. So when they keep updating me, my message becomes better, because now I'm able to bridge the gap between generations. And some of what you get from them, you cannot get it from school. It's life experiences. There's no textbook for them.
Yeah, I know this interview. Okay, all right, okay, it's Castor shy. All right, so let me ask this: what if you
This
had an
should be your
opportunity?
last.
Okay,
My breakthrough
this should
is.
be my last question. Still, all right, fine. I'm gonna cut all other questions.
Yeah.
Promote yourself. You've got so much to promote. You've got men mandate. You're an NLP coach. You've just got so much. So, seeing that this is the last question, promote yourself.
What can I say about myself other than that which we have? Okay, I'm working for men. I founded an organization called Men Mandate. We're having our annual conference in November. This year's conference is on the 9th of November. All of my speakers have confirmed. Yes, I am an executive coach. Actually, NLP in the course that I've done for coaching is just a module, because it's very vast. It's an executive, it's very broad, it's very open. It allows me to coach people at all levels of life. I'm a pastor. I'm doing pastoral work. I have a church in Pretoria West by the name of Altar Ministries. I am an apostle by calling. I travel. I speak throughout South Africa. So that's who I am. I'm a father. I'm a husband. Just celebrated, actually yesterday. I celebrated my 29th year.
Yeah.
Still,
Hallelujah. Okay. Where can people find you?
people can find me if they want to email me. It's jezlemzwake@gmail.com. Mzwake is having an H. It's jezlemzwake@gmail.com. If they want to talk on phone, WhatsApp, it's 082 216 3844. 082 216 3844. That's my only number.
Okay. But Mpostoli, thank you so much. I really appreciate
Thank you.
the opportunity. We'll see each other, I guess, it's the 9th of November.
Yeah. Let's meet
9th,
November.
9th of November. Make sure you pull through, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Peace. We bees.